Ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely legendary bull market signal just happened, one that I've been waiting for over a month to talk about. I gave some preliminary information during my recent video, and to be honest, on my XRP video, I mean, come on, we finally got the news catalyst we needed for XRP for God knows how long. I talked a little bit about the SEC dropping the case, but now I want to go ahead and touch base on what's going on in the broader markets. I've pulled up a lot of tabs here. I think you'll enjoy the video. I've been just spitting out alpha, it feels like, lately on a winning streak. It's just been incredible. I made a video recently on how I turned $50,000 into over $70,000 on our public portfolio. I've been meaning to make a public port to teach you all how to trade, and I was able to go ahead and give that sort of information for you all, which is pretty awesome. How's it going, Garib? We've got Garib here. Shaughnessy, welcome to the stream. Let me see if I can actually pop this out to show y'all how everything is. I'll have to change to, is it, I think it's the gaming screen. All right, let's pop it up here. We got the legends here on the chat, though. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I mean, I'm having a good day. The markets are good. If the markets are good, I'm having a wonderful day. So let's touch base on some of the findings that I had. This might be a longer live stream than I'm used to doing, only because I feel like there's a lot of information I want to just get out there, get out into the world. But it'll be informative nonetheless. So we've got 85,640 on Bitcoin. I'm not a technical analyst. I'm going to be completely honest. I do fundamental analysis. This is something that hedge funds do as well. Some people are big into TAs. Some are big into fundamental analysis. I like to look at where the Fed's going. I look at where the market sentiment is, where the psychology behind it all kind of overlaps, into finding what potentially could be the continuation or end of a bull market. So here's kind of what I found to be very interesting to me. I found the 85,000 level has been an absolutely critical level as of the short term. We've been rejecting it several times. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just say it very quickly. Volume is important when it comes to crypto. If we do not have solid volume on breakouts, that means there's not enough market demand. And one thing I want to go ahead and just get out of the way right now, you need to lose money in order for the crypto markets to make money. And what I mean by that is that a majority of market participants, a majority of the people in any equity market, they need to be ones losing money so that the people that are controlling the market can continue to go ahead and move the market up. So let's give an example. Let me try to break this down. If Bitcoin is at about $85,000 right now, a majority of market participants are probably still bearish from what happened a couple of days ago when the markets hit about 77, 76K. There were, I don't know how many threads that were talking about how Bitcoin could go down to 50, 60K. People were bearish on XRP. People were bearish on Hbar. They were just generally bearish on the market. What is max pain? What is the scenario in the market where a majority of people lose money? Well, it's the exact opposite of what people are positioning themselves in, which people were bearish, the market pumps. It liquidated a lot of the shorts in the market. That's what we're getting right now. And that's why you see these short squeezes. When people short the market, they over leverage themselves. They go too deep in the market, and the market likes to take money from those participants. They take money by having these squeezes from the upside to the low side. Right now, we're getting a breakout. This breakout, it is a little flip-floppy. 100% honest here, it's flip-floppy. We don't have a confirmation on whether or not this bull market is going to continue, but what we do have a confirmation of is a breakout. And a breakout is when we get past levels that are hard to sustain. If these levels are passed and actually sustained over a daily candle, then usually it means a continuation is going to happen, and we could start to look into the 92, 93K range. So I'm not going to try to moon boy this, but I am going to say that right now we are at a critical level that people right now are looking at to see whether or not this market is going to continue going up. And as it stands, with the sentiment the way it is, it makes more sense for the market to go up than it makes sense for the market to go down. There is just not a lot of money in crypto right now. Yeah, there's about $2 trillion worth of capital in these equity markets, but this number, especially given where Trump is positioning himself, looks to be so much lower than it should be. And that's where the inefficiency lies. That's where the money wants to flow into. They want to flow into where they can make the most money. And that right now is on the upside. So if we get this confirmation on this breakout on the daily close, I'm talking about the next 24 hours, then I'm very bullish. I'm very bullish on the market. So let's go over some of the things that are happening that are good, that are bad, everything you really need to know to make a proper decision in the markets. First things first, the Fed meeting happened. I wasn't around to do the live stream. I was going ahead and working out. It was 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Fed gave us good news. Now, things we should know and things that aren't just covered on this page. One, the market is beginning to go ahead and shake, but the economy, according to Jerome Powell, is still solid. These are markers that we're not going to get any extreme cuts, but we are going to get a steady rate cut over time. In fact, if you look at the odds on interest rates for the Fed's next 4 meetings, they are going ahead and increasing astronomically for a rate cut over the coming couple months. You can see here in June, there's about a 55% chance of a cut here, and then another 33% chance, almost guaranteeing a rate cut sometime in June 18th. We can see July 30th, almost guaranteeing maybe even a double cut. And we could even see a triple cut over here on the September, even though it's not very likely. I'm thinking 2 cuts makes sense. 2 cuts is kind of where most people are pricing in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, these markets. Why it's important for the Fed to cut rates is because, my friends, it is hard to get approved for things right now. To get quite literally anything, it takes a heck of a lot of income to get approved for a proper loan. Interest rates are up the wazoo. And so money's not really flowing the way it needs to flow. And to flow, they need to do these cuts so people can get their money easier, things can flow, and finally, the Feds can begin to just loosen up a little bit. They've just been so tight. They need to get a massage from a masseur. They need to just go to Thailand, talk to a ladyboy. I don't know what they need, but they need to figure it out. And the Fed has gone ahead and signaled that they might make that trip to Thailand because they decided that they're not going to be throwing $25 billion every month into tightening the markets. They're only throwing $5 billion, which signals a dovish market. A dovish market is exactly what we want for the pump, respect the pump, everybody knows Ivan on tech, to continue. We need the Feds to be dovish. Without a dovish Fed, it's all over. And some people were like, oh, but Trump is doing 7D chess and 18D chess. I don't care what he's doing. All I care is that the market is moving where we want it to move. You heard me, Kirk. You absolutely heard me, Kirk. And right now, I'm pricing in for 2 rate cuts. And that's going to be good. We all like to hear that. Other things that Heather here took is in terms of a recession risk, it's moved up, but it's not high. I'm like, okay, well, the Fed would never really admit to recession until they're very late. We all know that because of COVID. They don't expect a May rate cut, which, okay, fair enough. Uncertainty is remarkably high, which he talks about 300 times during the Fed FOMC. We have Fed is watching big drop in sentiment, but the hard data is pretty solid. I mean, I could see the sentiment too. You know, SPY isn't as high as it was before. And then we have here, Fed leaders strongly in favor of slowing down and not pausing. So they haven't gone ahead and completely paused quantitative tightening. Like I said, they dropped it from 25 down to 5. So still dovish, but not dovish enough to get that big pump that people are going ahead and expecting just from the Fed's side. In terms of the scoop of the day, the biggest scoop of the day and unequivocally crypto history that we're currently witnessing, the SEC dropped the Ripple case. Boom. I covered it here when Eleanor went ahead and covered it, said that it could be going ahead and wrapping up and it could be over soon. We got Brad Garlinghouse saying it's over. The party is over. Now, I really enjoy this video. I enjoy it so much that I think for the next 4 minutes, we should watch this. This is Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO at Ripple, glazing all of our buns and giving us the good information that we've all needed for these Made in USA cryptos. What we've needed for the Made in USA crypto narrative. Everybody that likes Hbar, everybody that likes Avax, if you like XRP, if you like even Bitcoin, you're just 4 minutes of your time. Check this out.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over. Sitting here today and reflecting on 4 years ago, it seems very clear to me that this case was doomed from the start. In so many ways, it was the first major shot fired in the war on crypto. I truly felt like I knew then that Ripple was not only on the right side of the law, but I felt that we were also going to be proven to be on the right side of history. really, I think, sends an ominous sign for innovation around cryptocurrency in the United States. Picking winners in general has not been something the US government should be in the business of doing. I think the judge realizes this is not just about Ripple. This will have broader implications. As Mary Jo White, the former head of the SEC, has said publicly that she views this as a dead wrong, and the SEC is dead wrong on this decision. Ripple is the first company with the resources, determination, and grit to fight back against the agency's overreach. And today, this journey finally concludes. Today is a victory and a long overdue surrender by the SEC. The SEC, under Chairman Gary Gensler, went after the whole industry, using the same arguments they used against us. They weren't out to protect investors. They were out to intimidate and terrorize. The regulator, whose primary purpose is to protect investors, went all in on a non-fraud, victimless lawsuit and wiped out $15 billion of value from innocent XRP holders. The SEC was the market manipulator. The SEC wasn't seeking justice. They were seeking to win a case at any cost. Forces inside our government aligned with the SEC and embarked on a campaign of debanking anyone associated with the crypto industry. This was lawfare, a war of legal terror. Fortunately, the judge rebuked the SEC multiple times in this journey. First, for lacking a, quote, faithful allegiance to the law. The SEC was sanctioned in our case for discovery abuses, and the pattern was repeated in other crypto cases.
Well, let's just say they're trying to confuse you.
We won then on every critical legal point, proving that the digital asset XRP is not a security. That is now the law. And those wins have laid the groundwork for policymakers to adopt a set of rules for crypto that are in line with nearly a century of securities law. With today's news, the war on crypto has ended in defeat for those who turned our own government against a technology and an entire industry. I'm heartened that we have paved the way for other industry players to see the value in not backing down, and for others to use our legal playbook to fight back. We are now closing a chapter in crypto history. I think we are all stronger for our prior litigation successes and today's landmark victory. Progress is worth fighting for. We won multiple pro-crypto victories at the ballot box last year. It's time to make the US the crypto capital of the world. Thankfully, we have new leadership in executive and legislative branches of our government. That leadership is actively seeking a rational and constructive way forward on crypto. Let's make the most of this. This is an incredibly promising moment. Let's come together. Let's leave the tribalism behind. But let me make it clearer that my main message, what Ripple's main message today, is about gratitude. It's gratitude to everyone who stood by us, to every Ripple employee, to the incredible legal team here at Ripple, led by the best chief legal officer in the business, Stu Alderodi.
Rizm up.
Gratitude certainly to the XRP family, to our customers, to our partners. Thank you. We couldn't have won this battle without all of you being behind us and working together. I truly believe we all agree there's immense opportunity with the largest economy in the world finally taking a pro-crypto and pro-innovation approach to build this technology in order to solve real-world problems for people around the planet. This was a fight Ripple never wanted, but one we knew we had to win. And today, emphatically, we have. Thank you.
We won! Finally, it's over. The pain, the suffering, the fraud, the corruption. It's finally over. Geez, how long did we have to put up with this? How many YouTube videos have I made just yapping about the Ripple lawsuit? This is history. You just watched 4 minutes of history. If there was any 4 minutes of my life in crypto that I'd want to see in the bull market in 2021 to really tell me that there is something awesome going on, it would be this. Simple as that. I'm bullish as hell. There's been, over the past month, I've been leaning more and more bearish over the days, over the volume dying out. It feels like all the catalysts are over, and then we get hit with a nuclear bomb. A bombshell in the crypto industry today. Everything is shifting. Was this the master plan? I don't know if it was the master plan, but damn, it feels good to be in this narrative. Let me just switch over from Bitcoin. Let's talk about, so Solana, I think I'm about to talk about Solana and what's going on with Solana. It's up 7%. XRP is at $2.50. If you think this thing is not going to all-time highs, I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid you're drinking from the bears, but this thing's looking like it's going to flip Ethereum. I hate to be that guy that says things are slightly outlandish, but it really is positioning itself to flip ETH. I think the Made in USA crypto narrative is the biggest crypto narrative of this cycle. All the meme coin volume is going to go into these Made in USA cryptos. If you're not bullish on XRP, if you're not bullish on Solana, if you're not bullish on things like Chainlink, for example, Idera, we got Avax, XLM, some of the biggest cryptos in the industry, they are going to continue to gain market share. They've been ignored for far too long. These are the cryptos that are just exploding at the moment. They're all up. And I think, at least where I'm parking my money, I'm betting on this to continue. Am I going to be taking profits along the way? Yeah, like XRP hits a new all-time high, I'll take a very small amount out of my bag. But man, am I really bullish on XRP and the Made in USA crypto narrative to really spark the next leg of this bull market. I don't think we see a bull market unless the United States continues to adopt cryptocurrency. It seems very obvious that they're going to do it. And I'll even talk about Trump participating in one of the first crypto conferences. I think this is the first time a sitting president has participated in a crypto conference, which is like crazy that we're talking about this in 2025. But yeah, it is looking really good for Made in USA crypto. So let's go over the news here for Solana. The first Solana, I'm sweating. I'm going to be sweating by the end of this video. I did like 20 push-ups here. A year ago, I could barely do 10. I was fat. I was a loser. I'm 30 pounds down. We could do 20 push-ups now. We'll do 30 push-ups in a couple months, 40, 50. We'll keep it going because at the end of the day, it's time to pump your health. It's time to pump the markets. It's time to position yourself. And now it's time to eat. So here we go. First Solana ETFs to launch in the US tomorrow. How awesome is that? It's bullish as hell for Solana. Huge news for Solana. It's been quite some time, but the ETFs named Sols and SolT will track Solana futures with SolT offering 2x leverage. It's not spot, so don't get too bullish. Don't get too bullish. It's only futures. Spot is much bigger of a deal, but still a big deal. Still a big deal. It'll spell the introduction of a spot ETF at some point. If the futures one got approved, then more than likely the spot one is coming very, very soon. Spot is much less risky than futures. So if you're trying to get justification, this makes a lot of sense for Solana. And of course, we know about David Sachs. We know about how much he's backed Solana in the past and how President Trump has talked about Solana. I don't think the run for Solana is over. I think people are transitioning into other things. Utility will reign king by the end of this cycle. Enough people will get burnt out. Enough people will realize, let me go ahead and just talk here. Enough people will realize they're being scammed by these meme coins. There is no such thing as a fair launch on a meme coin. All of these meme coins, I would argue, are even worse than the VC-backed coins that are coming out. I would argue they're a million times worse. They have the sole reason they're even making them is to extract as much money as possible. When enough people get scammed from these meme coins, they'll move to utility coins. Solana, hopefully, fingers crossed, with Render and other dApps, will double down on DeFi. Made in USA cryptos will double down on DeFi, and that'll be the next major catalyst. I am betting on utility season. By the end of this bull cycle, when enough people get grifted, they'll want actual things, real things to come into the market. Next thing, I've been reviewing the Avalanche ecosystem. This is where I've made a lot of my money recently, trading these cryptocurrencies. Here's what I got to say about the DEX situation. I think exactly what I just said is happening. I'm beginning to bet on these utility coins like Pharaoh as well as Bellum, which recently went ahead and came out. These coins, I think any of the utility coins in most ecosystems will do well. The same can kind of be said of Hbar. I know Hbar has Bonzo Finance. I'm actually pretty damn bullish on SaucerSwap as well as Hashpack. A little bit more bullish on SaucerSwap only because of the fact that they are the leading DEX, so a lot of the volume is going to come in. It's one of the easiest businesses to run once you have market dominance. They're going to make a boatload of money, and the market participants are going to make good money. But I bet a lot of you are feeling exactly like this. You're probably feeling like this video right now. Celebrating the pump. Sweating like crazy. fucking crying around like Hbar's only at 19 cents. I bought it at 40 cents. Fucking who cares about this guy, this creator saying things are bullish right now? I bought Avax at $50 earlier. My ETH it was at 3,800 last month. I don't care if ETH is at 2,000. How am I supposed to celebrate? You'd be right. You know, you probably shouldn't be buying into euphoria. Don't buy into euphoria. Don't buy when everybody's bullish. If you're aping into something like XRP, for example, in a month from now, XRP is like at new all-time highs at $4. I don't know if you just have a fetish for losing money. Maybe it turns you on when you lose money, but you gotta ape your funds when people are not bullish, when everybody's selling into it. Just like I said in the beginning, Max Payne is the best scenario. You don't want to be that guy caught in the corner, stuck in a chair while two college kids are going at it. You want to make sure that you're not in the room when these things are happening, that you're positioned for glory, for just glory in the markets, and not caught with your pants down. So, if you're going to buy and hold, do it when the markets are shifting. Don't do it when everybody is euphoric. When I see the timeline bull posting again, and when those memes stop, run away. Run away as fast as possible. Other things, Trump. Ooh, wow. Trump is expected to make a major update on his upcoming crypto strategy. Now, what is this thing that's coming? Now, Trump, I think it's the DEC is what he's talking about, the digital. Can someone give me the news here? Trump, I think it's DEC. Give me 1 second. I might be right. I might be wrong. I don't know how to spell things. I think I don't know how to spell things. Crypto conference. Jeez, so we're live. Can't even spell, illiterate. Here it is, DAS. So Digital Assets Summit 2025, New York. Trump is going to be speaking there. Very interesting. Wendy's saying he spoke at Bitcoin 2025. Maybe Wendy's calling him out. But turns out he wasn't the sitting president. He was just pumping the Bitcoin bags last year. Now he's pumping the Bitcoin bags at a conference while he's the president. So for me, very, very bullish. We'll see. I don't think it'll be a major update. Last time in Bitcoin 2025, he was kind of just shilling his bags. He didn't say anything important. But maybe we'll get some. I'll think about streaming it when the news comes out. I'll probably do a live stream or something. Last time he did a crypto summit, I think it was at the White House about a week ago. It was the biggest nothing burger. They covered the Hbar guy. They covered the guy that was supposed to pump my Hbar bags. It was Brian Brooks or something like that. One of the guys on the board for Hbar. He was there, and they covered him with a FIFA trophy. I'm not even kidding. They covered the guy that I needed to be covered there for my bags with a FIFA trophy. Half of that crypto summit was just talking about the FIFA trophy. Ridiculous. I get you spent a ton of money on the FIFA World Cup, but you don't need to talk about it during a crypto summit. No one cares. Absolutely no one cares. In terms of other things, I've been moderating nodes. If you didn't know, on X, I've been huge into nodes. I call myself the node king. I think it's the most cringe thing in the world, but we are in an era of cringe, so I'm embracing it. I put over 6 figures in nodes, and one thing I've been observing that I thought was really interesting. So Beam is currently supporting its price pretty aggressively. They got, I think it was $150 million for a grant from Abu Dhabi, a ton of money to go ahead and build out ecosystems in crypto. Gaming related, especially Dubai, the Emirates have really been huge on gaming. I think gaming as an industry is really moving to the Middle East in terms of funding. It's an interesting observation, but kind of where the market is leading. Beam has a lot of money, and they've been defending their price pretty aggressively here. We see the volume actually about 20x from it where it was back when they did their migration from Merit Circle. Merit Circle dominates in the crypto gaming space. They have a ton of funds and a ton of investments. Beam is doing very well. We actually went ahead and opened up our Beam validator. I think it was like 3-4 days ago. The first one maxed out in 2 days. So we had over 1,000 staked node tokens. I think that's over $1 million on our validator. And the second one that we launched now is at already, like 19 or 20 of these Beam node delegations. So very bullish on where Beam is heading, where Avalanche is heading. I think if you double down on DeFi in the Made in USA crypto narrative, you're going to be sitting pretty. But what I will say, and something I did post on X, is don't get too eager. Don't induce yourself with FOMO. What I think is going to happen is right now, these cryptos are just so undervalued that people are going to be throwing money into the actual daddy crypto. So the one leading the charge. Example, Hbar XRP versus something like Saucer Swap, or, the XRP ledger has that Phoenix coin or something. Those coins are going to be later. So I'm thinking after new all-time highs on Hbar, once we hit over 50 cents, I'll be looking to rotate some of it into DeFi. I'm expecting a DeFi season in crypto. I'm expecting it after all of the meme coin pain that has come as of recent. I imagine the ecosystem is going to gain more TVL but until then, it's likely too early. So let me go ahead and show you and give you some context on what I'm talking about in terms of TVL. Let's pull up the example that I was talking about here, Hbar. So Hbar has this thing called total value locked. This is the amount of money that it's actually locked up on the chain. It has nothing to do with the market cap of meme coins on Hbar. It only has to do with the money that's actually locked up on chain. This is the money that we want to see go up over time. The more money that's locked up, the more money that's in the ecosystem, the more bullish that we are. In fact, when we had that little bit of a meme coin run on Hbar, you'll see the TVL had a massive spike from about $40 million upwards of $200 million. We've had a correction since then to about $95 million. We want to see this easily surpass all-time highs. We need this to go much higher before we can sustain any sort of DeFi run. We need liquidity. Liquidity is the name of the game. Without liquidity, there is no meme coin run. There is no DeFi run. There's nothing. And so what I think is going to happen is, the president's positioning himself here for these ETFs on these made in USA cryptos. These are going to hit new all-time highs. And then all of this money is going to go into what's next. I mean, if I made a bunch of money on Hbar, I might throw some on Saucer Swap. And that's what I think a lot of people are going to think about once these cryptos begin to make new all-time highs. And that's where I'm positioning myself for the latter end of the cycle. So for the late end cycle here, I'm going to be positioning myself for these DeFi coins. And I think it's going to be very good for me because I'm not the only one that's betting on it. The big boys are betting on it. World Liberty Finance raised a heck of a lot of money. Trump-backed World Liberty Finance, and I'll talk about VeChain in a bit, WinSports. World Liberty Finance concluded its token sale with $550 million raised, and a Trump-related company will receive 75% of the net revenue as a fee per the World Liberty Finance gold paper. So he's bullish as hell because he got a heck of a lot of money. If anyone's aligned, if the US president is aligned, I'm hoping we're aligned here. If I pull up Arkham here, World Liberty Fi right now, this is the World Liberty Fi wallet, the official wallet. It's on Arkham. I'm pulling it up for you. Usually you have to pay for this, but I already own it, so you get free information here. World Liberty Fi has $81 million. $81 million on their official wallet. If you go over here, just down here, you'll see one of their secondary wallets. It's this Gnosis Safe Proxy OXA71. If you pull it up, these are some of their recent acquisitions. Very interesting. They bought $2 million worth of Avalanche. Does that mean that the US government is going to do something with Avalanche? I don't know. We do know that California tokenized a lot of their titles on chain with Avalanche. This happened last year, so not a new catalyst at all. Other things we know, very interesting, Bybit-backed Mantle also very recently had a $2 million buy. So I don't know if they're just accumulating a bunch of DeFi coins because they're expecting a DeFi season, but I would align myself with where the institutions are going. And right now, as it stands, they're positioning themselves to take advantage of a DeFi season. We see that obvious as day with their accumulations of Ethereum, TRX in terms of Asia coins, which is interesting to me. We have Move, which right now is at 45 cents. They accumulated about $3 million. I think this was more. I think the coin went, I think it was like $4 million or something like that. But yeah, they've been big into buying DeFi. And if the president is aligned with DeFi, then I'm imagining the crypto markets are going to be moving toward a DeFi summer. But all of this, of course, comes at the end of the day after we hit new all-time highs, after liquidity has been injected into the ecosystem, after people have made their money and they're looking for the next best place. They're going to be going into DeFi. I think DeFi summer is going to happen not for the broader crypto industry, but for the made in USA cryptocurrencies. So those cryptocurrencies that are getting backed right now by the US government, by World Liberty Finance, that's really where I would put my head at and where I think the market is going to be trending over the next couple of months. Am I expecting, everything to be sunshine and roses? No, I'm expecting a lot of volatility. I'm expecting it to be tough. At the end of the day, though, I remain net bullish on these specific cryptocurrencies because of the narrative. VeChain. So I had a question on VeChain and my thoughts on VeChain personally. They had a bit of a resurgence in late 2024, but from what I understand, I'm not convinced that they're ready to spend to get their coin to where it needs to be. They do have some partnerships. I think it's what the UFC that VeChain is working with. But I'm not convinced as of yet that they have the fresh narrative to hit 10 billion plus. So I like the main USA cryptos, and that's kind of where I am parking my money. But I might be biased. You know, that's kind of where I have made money. And so if I am winning, if I have a winner, I'm not just going to magically change my thesis on it. I'm going to keep my thesis strong because that's how people should be trading their crypto. And that's pretty much it. I'll be taking some questions. If not, that'll be pretty much it. I have been very obsessed with the crypto market as of late. I've been plugging in a lot. We've been getting a lot of wins, to be completely honest. A ton of wins lately. We've been on a hot streak. It's been a good month, even though the market has been dumping. There's still opportunity in every market. The easiest way to lose money, though, is overtrading. If you're overtrading in these markets, you're going to lose. When it's chop season, when we have these, you agree, fade VeChain? Yeah, I think I will fade VeChain. If we're having volatility in these markets, sure, there might be some short-term profit, but what I will say is they want to liquidate you. These are the perfect market conditions to liquidate you. Their best bet here, massive liquidations into a pump. They just want to keep liquidating people over and over. That's why you keep seeing these stupid moves. These moves that make no sense, they're doing this on purpose. They're manipulating these charts on purpose to get you uncomfortable. They want you to be uncomfortable so that they can get the market higher. It happens every time. I still remember when I got into the crypto markets, it was 2021, right after Elon went ahead and said that Bitcoin needed to be more sustainable. They needed to use renewable energy. A lot of people were bear posting on Bitcoin. It was about $30,000. I went to a Bitcoin ATM in Miami. I still remember this very vividly with my brother. We deposited Bitcoin, probably got grifted like 10%. They do an upcharge on these ATMs. And then got into what was Axie Infinity at the time. Mark Cuban had put in money, and it went very well for us. It went very well for us. You want to get in when people are not confident. And now's one of those times. So we'll see if we sustain this breakout that I called earlier. If we do sustain this, I will be buying more crypto. Just straight up. I have a good amount of stables right now. I'll be okay if the market goes to zero, but I'm allocated enough to be able to take full advantage of whatever comes. I'm thinking if we sustain this, if I see Bitcoin tomorrow at 88,000, I will be very bullish on altcoins. Very, very, very bullish. They have to go ahead and eat back some of the losses that they've had. Bitcoin dominance is high. Bitcoin dominance is really high. It's at 60%. If we get a correction here and a double top, it's going to be looking really good for crypto. So that's a stream. Of course, Garib, anytime. I'm thinking we stream tomorrow. Once we hear about the Trump news and what happens then, hopefully he gets us some bullish news to continue the rally that we have going today. But I'll see y'all some other